All right, I think it is time to start. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, a warm welcome on behalf of AI Singapore. We'd like to thank you very much for joining us today in our virtual AI clinic. I wish we could have met in a better situation. We're all stuck at home and many companies are being affected by this COVID-19. But what we would like to do is to spend the next 2 hours or so with you to talk about how you can revive your business after the epidemic is over. My name is, My name is Kevin Lee. I'm the head of AI advisory and adoption in AI Singapore. I have my colleague with me today, Tan Po. He will be the moderator to help me. If you have any questions that you would like to ask during the presentation, feel free to ask using the chat function at the bottom. Or if you are having any problem with audio or stuff like that, please feel free to type in your questions or issues. Tan Po will help resolve them. So a bit of background of myself before we begin. Before joining AI Singapore, I've spent more than 15 years managing sales and marketing operations for both multinational companies as well as startup. So today's topic is close to my heart. What I hope to do is to be able to share with you some of the technologies that are available today in the AI world that can help companies improve their sales and also enhance their marketing effectiveness. So if you look at the agenda today, you can see that it is focusing on AI for sales and marketing, and the bulk of it is use cases. And these use cases that I'll be sharing with you later is based on the projects that we have done in AI Singapore. So, however, I've changed the names of the company and also the specific data sets for confidentiality reasons. However, the scenario remains very similar, so that what I'll be sharing with you is something that has been tried and validated in the industry. At the later part of the presentation, I will also be sharing with you some of the tips should you be interested to get onto an AI project. What are the do's and don'ts? I will also be sharing with you a way that you can actually build and deploy a prototype pretty easily without knowing coding. Some of the examples that I'll be showing you today, you can actually build it at home without knowing how to code. That is a very exciting thing that I'll be sharing. At the end, I will also be talking about how do you go about engaging AI Singapore. We have a lot of very exciting programs that can help Singapore companies to embark on their first AI project. So again, as I'm walking through the slides, do feel free to type in your questions. Now, for the benefit of those who are not familiar with AI Singapore, just a brief description of who we are. We are National AI Program Office. We are sponsored by National Research Foundation, and we are hosted by NUS. That's where our physical office resides, and we have been around for about close to 3 years. And our mission for AI Singapore is really to help Singaporeans as well as Singapore companies to adopt AI. At a later part of my presentation today, I'll talk a lot more about what are the programs and how do we go about helping Singapore companies and Singaporeans to embark on their AI journey. So let me start by looking at this market research done by McKinsey Global. They're saying that AI, as defined as deep learning, contributes about $3.5 to about $6 trillion in annual value. This is global. That's a pretty big number. But if you go deeper into it and look at different functions, you see that 2 functions really stand out: sales and marketing, as well as supply chain management and manufacturing. What it means is that if you take these two functions together, it will contribute most of the value of AI. And then if you look on the right, you will see that by industry, retail stays on top. So today, what I'm going to do is that I'll be using retail as an example to demonstrate how companies can make use of AI to increase their sales and marketing. If your business happen to be in retail, what I'll be sharing with you will be directly relevant to your business. But if you're not, don't worry, because many of the methods that I'll be sharing is extensible to different type of environment. As I go along, I'll be talking about some of the nuances. So let's step back and ask this question. What do we as sales and marketing people do? Let me generalize it into three functions: acquisition of customers, maximization of the value of a customer after they have become our customer, as well as to try to retain those that are good. So if I were to look at it from a customer life cycle perspective, from start to churn, churn means a customer stop buying from us. That's the customer life cycle. As a sales and marketing person, what do we really try to do? First of all, we'd like to know who you are as a customer. You know, are you similar to the customers that I already have? You know, there's something called customer segmentation, which has been done for the past few decades by marketers. What I'll be sharing with you later is how do we use AI to improve customer segmentation, and also to be able to make prediction based on this customer segmentation to get better results. After that, I'd like to know how much are you worth as a customer. There's a concept of customer lifetime value, meaning that after you start buying from me till the time that you churn, what is the total life value there is? Now, this is something that every sales or marketing person would like to know. In the past, people would try to do that by clustering customer into high-end, mid-range, or low-end customers and try to get an average value. But what I'll be showing you later is a method that you can do that prediction down to specific customers using AI. And then I'd like to know what else would you like to buy. I'd like to recommend things that you want to buy so that I can increase my sales, to do cross sales as well as upsell. And then I'd like to reach out to you in a more cost-effective way. There's campaign optimization. And then I also want to know whether my customers are still happy with me. So again, this has been done in many years already, that people look at customers' satisfaction through survey. But again, I will be showing you some of the limitation there and how we can do that better using AI. And then last but not least, I'd like to know which customer is going to leave me, which customer is going to churn. And if they are going to churn, I want to know when. So there's a concept of churn prediction. What I'll be doing later is to show you with some specific examples how AI can help in some of these key tasks that sales and marketing people do. Now, before we dive in, I just want to answer these questions, a common question that many sales and marketing people have. Most of us are familiar with customer analytics. We do that all the time. Every month or so, we will be doing customer analytics, do some analysis, and then we'll present to management. So what's the difference between customer analytics and AI? What additional value does AI bring to the table? The way that I'll describe it is that customer analytics really focus on describing customers' past behavior based on the purchase history and stuff like that. We'll be able to group them into, make them into broad groupings. And the analysis is usually done using these broad groupings only. And it will offer insights to people to make decisions and then to take actions. But the difference is AI makes predictions. I know that in customer analytics, we do predictions as well with things like linear regression. However, AI focuses on doing predictions rather than describing the past, whereas the customer analytics do some prediction, but primarily focus on offering insights through analysis of past data. Not only can AI do predictions, it can also do prediction down to individual customers. Therefore, you are able to do personalized recommendation based on that capability. In addition, AI can also take in non-traditional, non-structured data. What I mean by that is like free text, things that people type in, pictures, videos, clickstream data, which website you have spent most time on. This kind of data are non-traditional. It is very difficult for traditional customer analytics to handle those, but it is AI is able to take in all those as inputs and to produce more precise models so that it will improve accuracies and also be able to recommend actions. This is the way that Gartner explains this. They're saying that on one axis is difficulty, the other axis is value. You start with descriptive analytics that focus on the past, what happened. And then diagnostic analytics is about why did it happen? Predictive analytics is about what will happen. That's about prediction. And then last but not least is about prescriptive analytics. Is about what can we do to make it happen. So you go from hindsight, insight, and foresight. And analytics focuses more on the left, whereas the AI focuses more on the right and towards the top. So I think this is a pretty good pictorial way to understand the differences. All right, so we are now going into use cases. But before I do that, let me just check whether there are any questions that I can take of what I've talked about so far. Tempo, is there any questions that
there's one
came in?
questions from Anindip. So he's asking how AI can help people to start their business.
How AI what, sorry?
How AI can help people to start their business.
Oh, that's a great question. What later you will see is that AI is able to provide you a very different way of reaching customers and providing ways of serving customers that is not available in the past. Therefore, it creates new opportunities. So there is a saying that any old business plus AI, it becomes a new business model. So for one, it creates a new business opportunity. Second one is that it may be able to help you identify your customers in a more accurate way, which we will show you how to do that. And also, you will also be able to look into many different, give you capabilities that are not possible before. Therefore, I think I would think that AI is a transformative technology. If you understand it, you will be able to start new businesses or even change your current business model in a way that gives you competitive advantage that were not available before.